What's up, everybody? It's your girl Ashley, and I am here with my first ever podcast episode. Welcome to the ICC podcast. This podcast is going to inspire you, this podcast is going to challenge you, and this podcast is going to connect with you. There go your meaning of the ICC podcast. So, anywho, this is my first ever episode, and what I'm going to do with this episode is basically introduce myself, let you guys know where I'm from, what I'm here to do, and how you guys can help me grow. Hello, let's get to it. First off, my name is Ashley. I am from South Carolina. I reside in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My hometown is Andrews, South Carolina. I am 34 years old. I have a son and a daughter, best of both worlds, and a fur baby. Well, best of three worlds, basically, and a husband. Oh, let's make it best of four worlds. If you know, you know. So basically, I started this journey. Been talking about it for a while. I was to my husband, and I bought all the equipment. And literally, this is month 4 of having the equipment, and I'm just starting. Some things take time, and that is okay. And that's what I'm also going to do in this episode. I'm also going to encourage you about some things take time. At the end, not too much on it. So, but definitely just want to kick off with a brief introduction. The ICC podcast, the name just came from me out of nowhere. Like, I was just like sitting in my car one day, and I'm like, I'm going to start a podcast. So I literally came home and I just, went on Amazon and ordered everything, and it was here in like a couple of days. Prime member. So it was here in like a couple of days, and bada bing, bada boom. Like, I was in here and I was like, oh my God, like, how do I set this stuff up? Like, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? But anywho, I figured it out. Took me 4 months, but things take time. Throughout the 4 months of me having the equipment, I posted videos on TikTok. I will be posting my TikTok, my Instagram, and my Facebook after all of this, and it'll be in the post when I post this podcast. So that way you guys can follow me on all of the social media platforms. Anywho, let's get to it. So, what to expect from the ICC podcast? This podcast is going to be an all around podcast, more on the spiritual side of things, but I'm going to also keep it real. I'm going to also dive into the real world of things. I'm going to dive into conversations with teens, dive into conversations with business owners, and dive into conversations with people who may have been on a rough journey and now they're here. It can be anywhere from postpartum, if you know, to just, being 100% business owner. It can be anywhere. So these topics are going to be out of the box, literally. But one thing we're going to do is, if you're ever invited to the ICC podcast, first off, you're going to be greeted with this beautiful face and this beautiful smile. Hey. And I'm going to make sure that we're going to keep it real. We're not going to beat around the bush, because that's something that we're not going to do. When I got this assignment, I'm like, and all I hear in the back of my head was like, if you're going to do it, you better do it and keep it real. If anything, like, I know all of you have seen that I'm on my spiritual journey, and that's that. Yeah, I am. So, it's there. And a lot of people are probably like, oh, she's on a spiritual journey. One question that I got asked once was, how did it come about? It wasn't a come about thing. I guess you could say the podcast, the videos, everything is just things that I went to bed and I was like, okay, God, what should my next move be? What should I do? And it's just like glimpse of everything happening all at once. Like, I hear about a podcast, and then I'm on TikTok, and a lady was talking to me, just randomly. Never met her. She messaged me and she said, "When are you starting your podcast?" That was my confirmation, even though that was like 2 months ago. But hey, it takes time. So I kind of did a lot of journaling on it. I did a lot of talking to God on it. And bada bing, bada boom, I am here. So, anywho, let's get to it about this first episode. The first title of this episode is Things Take Time. Patience is a virtue. I know we all can be in a season to where I'm here, God. Like I'm praying to you, God. And, you know, even if you're not on that 100% spiritual journey, I was there at one point. I wasn't 100% on, in the era to where I was all about God, but now I am now. Don't get me started because I'm all about Him now. you know, everybody's been in that point to where we've all of we're trying to get closer to God, but it just seems like sometimes He's not listening. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. I Before I got baptized, before I fully committed to doing the spiritual journey, I promise you a lot of the things were way better. No, 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 no. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But let me tell you something. When you flip your life over and give it to God and let God start handling things, He's going to test your patience. He's going to say, okay, look, I gave you all of this. When you were out there doing your thing and still blessing you and everything else. Now let's see if you can have some patience and wait on me. Because God, He's going to bless you when He wants to bless you. It may not come when you want to, but it's always on time. So things take time. Aside from that, we being on a spiritual journey, it's something that you got to have the right people around you. You're going to lose friends. You may get looked at funny from family members. You may get looked at differently at your job. But one thing, your appearance is going to show that you're following God. People ask me all the time, "You look good. Your face, you're glowing." I don't wear any bit of makeup. I might put on some eyelashes and some lip gloss, and that's all y'all see here. And I'm glowing. And guess what? It's all God. Because once you start putting God in front of everything that you do, look, listen, it's gonna flow. It's gonna align, and you ain't gotta worry about a thing. So, anywho, things take time. So basically, I just wanted to come on real quick. This is my first episode. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to get down to the nitty gritty just yet. Episode 2, you gotta stay tuned for. I really hope y'all jump on episode 2, but this is episode 1, and I hope you guys really, really stay tuned for the remainder to come. I will be doing live podcast recordings coming soon. I'm just trying to figure out the setup and everything. And if you want to be a guest, like, even though I know I just started, like, if you got any topics that you want me to talk about that you can't talk about, or you be like, hey, I don't want to talk about it, but I want to hear what people say about it on my live, when I announce when I'm doing my live videos. That will be on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Bang, bang, bang. So I have to get my devices lined up, and we can go from there. If you guys got any topics you want to throw at me and be like, hey, can you talk about this? I just want to see what, how it feels. And if you got questions, and you want me to present it to, the audience at the end of the day, at the end of the podcast, I can do that. And I am here for feedback. That's one thing about me. I'm here for feedback. I'm here for encouragement. I'm here for motivation. So if you need any of that, if you need motivation, encouragement, look, don't be afraid to hit your girl up. As I stated, my first episode, this episode is probably only going to be like 10 minutes, and it's been like 10 minutes. I'm a mom of a almost 9-month-old, so it's like, hey, time is like, but hey, we're gonna get there. Maybe we'll get into some longer episodes when baby girl get in daycare or whatever it is that she needs to get in, so Bobby can have some time, and we'll go from there. But definitely, definitely stay tuned, y'all, and remember, things take time. Please remember, things take time. Patience is a virtue. No matter if you're on a spiritual journey or not, don't forget that God still hears your prayers. And that's another topic. I can go on that topic too, but we're not going to do so. But I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Peace.